Hi, this is Mike Brown, owner of Death Wish Coffee Company. Welcome to Fueled by Deathcast.
I love Jeff, but sweet and high. Whoop, Mr. Motorama Coffee.
Death Wish Coffee presents Fueled by Deathcast, the world's strongest podcast. Get ready, the show's about to begin.
Welcome to Fueled by Deathcast. This is episode 154, or season 3, episode 50. And as always, I am the incredible Jeff. And I'd love it if you took a second and followed the show on social media at Fueled by Deathcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for all the updates on everything that I get to do here, including new episodes, new content, and more. And if you're listening to this show, wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it's Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or Google Music or iHeartRadio, or watching it in full video on the Death Wish Coffee Company YouTube page, take a second and hit that subscribe button because it's the best way to be notified when new episodes come out. And every single episode we do here features the voice of Death himself, Brock Powell. Brock Powell is the voice actor on this show and 1,000 voices out there in the world. Go follow him at Brock Talks across all social media and at brockvox.com.
Secret code unlocked. Discount of death.
For being a fan of Fueled by Deathcast, you get a special discount code at deathwishcoffee.com. Go on over and pick up some of the world's strongest coffee and some of our amazing merchandise. And at checkout, type in the code discount of Jeff, all one word, for 12% off your purchase. That's deathwishcoffee.com, and at checkout, type in discount of Jeff. I want to take a second to tell you guys about a really cool film festival that Death Wish Coffee is sponsoring next week, December 7th, the Scared for Your Life Film Festival. This is a return from the grave of the Long Island International Film Expo, and it's specializing in the macabre world of horror short films. Some of the best up-and-coming horror movie directors will be showcasing their work at this year's festival, and you're not going to want to miss it. It's December 7th at the Long Island Puppet Theater in Hicksville, New York. So anybody who's down there during that time, definitely go on and check that out, especially all you horror fans. And speaking of horror, this is put on by the Hauntsville Cryptcast. You definitely want to check out that podcast for all things horror, wherever podcasts are found. The Hauntsville Cryptcast. I am so excited to bring you this week's death guest, Emily Hastings. Emily is a singer, a songwriter, a guitarist, and she's been a musician for most of her life. She was in a band with her sisters called Hastings, and she's found newfound success on YouTube as one of the best guitarists out there. She constantly plays on wild audio guitars, and this guitar sitting right behind me, played on by Father Zakk himself, I brought with me when I met Emily down in New York City a couple months ago, and she played on it a little bit for me too, and it was absolutely electric to be in the room with her when she's shredding on guitar. And so we talk about her career, her love of music and metal, and everything in between, and some brand new news about her very first album. So put your mugs and your horns way up for this week's death guest, Emily Hastings.
The Fueled by Death guest.
I've been doing music all my life. I have 4 sisters, and we were in a band, and so it's just something that... And my mother was a musician as well, fun fact. She was a guitarist and vocalist in a band, so music is just part of who I am, you know? So I'm just glad that you get that vibe from me, that I truly love it, because it's my passion.
Well, you talked about it in some of your vlogs before that, you know, you were 5, 6 years old, singing in your bedroom with your sisters.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's where just the joy of music started from.
Truly, yeah.
Take me back to that time. What were you singing?
Okay, so we were singing in my room. In my room. I think it's the Who sings In My Room?
Weezer?
No, it's not the one by Weezer. In My Room. The Beach Boys. I think it's a Beach Boys
yes,
song. Yes,
the Beach
the
Boys,
Beach Boys song. And I remember being in the room with my sisters because we all used to share a bedroom. 5 girls.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's crazy. But we would all like start singing together and picking out harmonies, and it just came so naturally. It's just something that we didn't really have to work for. It just came so naturally. So, and then after that, we did a lot of musical theater, and then the rock part just trickled in because I always have had such a huge passion for rock music and
of course
gods and things like that.
So go back to the musical theater. Did you do that with school, or did you seek that out and do that like outside of it?
That's a good question. I actually was in school, and I was in school while doing musical theater. It's just something like sometimes I would have to take off school to do the plays. I was Alice in Wonderland.
Were you Alice?
Yes.
Aww.
Yeah, I was like Alice, the whole Alice thing.
So
I still have my Alice costume.
I smell a Halloween costume.
I know. I was like, yeah, maybe a video in the future.
Yeah.
Who knows? So yeah, it's just something I just love music. Everything that it's ever given me has just been so great.
And it shows, like I said. So there's always that moment in every young kid's life when, you know, you are loving the music you love, Beach Boys, musical theater, that kind of stuff. But like you said, rock and roll comes into play.
Yes, the rock and roll.
Do you remember when rock and roll, like you started to gravitate towards rock and roll?
Well, my mother is a rocker. She's a rock chick, so I feel like that really had a huge role to play in like my background, the things we would listen to. I remember we were driving in the car and everyone's like jamming out to Journey and things like that. And as you know, I'm a huge Zakk Wylde fan.
Oh yeah.
So I remember listening to Zakk Wylde, No More Tears, and blasting that solo out, and I just fell in love with rock. Like I guess that was like the pivotal moment. And then there's my Metallica days.
Yeah.
Like in all black. Whoa, kind of like now.
Yeah.
Listening to Metallica. So I just feel like it was always present. And in high school, I just really started to get into the rock scene. The guitar, yeah, that's when I started playing. So.
And you started playing guitar when you were 16, correct?
Yes.
And
yes.
So where did that choice come into it? Was it just because you were listening to a lot of rock music, you're like, I gotta pick up a guitar, or?
That's a really great question as well, because there were always guitars like lying around the house because, as I said, my mom used to play. And so just one day I saw the guitar, and it's like the guitar was speaking to me. I saw it like up against a wall, and I was like, I want to play this thing. And so I just picked it up and I started playing, and I was like, I really wish I had done this before. This is awesome. So yeah, it was just one day I just saw it and I started playing.
Wow.
And
was your mom your first teacher?
She taught me a few chords.
Okay.
And then after that, there was I was self-taught for a while, but then there was a guy in town who taught me some Mel Bay books. I practiced with the Mel Bay books.
Oh yeah.
Those boring, those wonderful, but it's tedious.
Violinist here,
I
know.
So
I know all about it.
You understand. Yeah. So I remember the Mel Bay books, but it was just so great because you feel yourself improving. I feel like guitar is like stair steps. It's not like, like a slope. It's like you get up the step and then you have to go a while and then you go up another step. And I still feel like I'm on the stair steps, like I'm still, I always feel like I need to improve, but it's so gratifying, to just keep that feeling of improvement.
That's awesome. So you start playing guitar. Is that the same time that you start thinking, we're going to start a band, you and your sisters?
That's another great question, Jeff. And yes, we actually were a singing group. And then...
And you were kind of just doing that already,
Yeah,
right?
we were doing that already. And then I started playing guitar. And then I had, one of the twins, she was like, well, I really like drums, so I'm just going to start playing around on drums. And then it just happened naturally from that. And then the other girls were like, well, this is really cool, and I think I'm going to start playing. So it just happened naturally. Like, it just took over from that. Everyone started playing,
And that led to a lot of opportunities for you guys.
Yes,
Can you
it
talk
did.
a little bit about like the journey of like, I mean, you guys are just sisters, singing in your room,
No, sisters jamming out.
to now being in a professional music group.
It's there's so many stories I could tell you. I don't even know where to start. We used to really focus on getting a record deal, and we used to like travel out and be like, in where we were living, it was actually hard. You had to pay places to play.
Pay to play.
Which is actually, who would think that you would need to do that? But it's a
terrible.
sad truth that you have to play. You have to pay to play. I cannot say it. Pay to play. But I just remember that there were so many feelings because you have also an image to sell, but sometimes that conflicts with just the love of music. So it's all it all goes together. But my sisters and I, we just loved to do music so much, and that was always the focus, like the love for it, the passion that we had for it. There were some things that were difficult. For example, the whole legal side and the contracts and everything like that. And we actually had a production agreement with Phil Ramone.
Oh, wow.
Ramone. And that was an amazing experience. He was a really wonderful guy. And so we had some really great experiences with him. And we learned a lot. And one of the things he taught us was always, he said, leave a space for the music. Like whenever you're making music, leave a space for the instrument to really shine. And I will always remember those words.
Wow.
So
you learned a lot really going after that and really like seeing it from all angles, not just being in the band, but like you said, the legal side and all that stuff. And I do want to kind of jump ahead and say congratulations. You just graduated from law school, correct?
I did, yes. It was a goal, and I accomplished that goal. So
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Did that stem from how you kind of saw the legal side being in a band?
Yes.
Really?
It did. It really did. I think signing bad contracts always makes you want to understand what you're signing and what you're getting into.
Yeah.
And so that was a very interesting experience in my life, the whole law school chapter. But it did stem from the contracts, and I wanted to understand like what actually I was signing and how you get out of agreements, or first of all, understanding what you're signing before you get into some type of deal. So
right. And I think what's so interesting about your journey in music is, again, it stems back to passion. It's not just about there's this one singular path that I'm going to go on, and either the band or the solo or whatever it is, it's just you need to create, you need to play, and you need to put it out there.
Yes.
And you've done an incredible job in this, I want to call, new age of the music industry, where we can connect with someone like you on a musical level, without having to maybe see you live or something like that.
Yeah.
You have had a lot of success on, platforms like YouTube. Was that hard to kind of get into that area, that space? Was it hard to kind of transition as a musician into there?
That's just an awesome question. I'm really glad you talked about it because at first, I will say it wasn't hard at all, because it's just something I wanted to leave my mark by doing the videos. Like, I wanted to be like, someday I want, if YouTube's still around, I want to have a video where people can see me in that moment, in that space and time, playing my guitar, and it's just raw. And I want people to see that. And so that's the first reason I did it without any expectation at all. And then I'm so grateful to every single person, and YouTube as well, who watches my videos, because it allowed me to meet so many incredible people, including Deathwish Coffee and you guys. Because I mean, who would ever think that YouTube could connect people all over the world, like all over the planet, like people who don't even speak the same language as you, you know? But music is the universal language. So I just feel sometimes if you really start thinking about it, I feel like it's just truly incredible because it has just connected people so much.
And I think you do a really good job on the connectivity side of it as well. It's not, there's a lot of YouTubers, musicians, that will put out a very well-produced, you know, good-looking, good-sounding video on YouTube, and that's all you really know about them.
Right.
You pull that curtain back a lot.
Thank you.
And I think that's really, really cool because, like, a lot of what you do is very hard.
Thank you.
You're incredibly talented.
Thank you, Jeff.
But it's so refreshing. Like, and I'm gonna bring our listeners and viewers to one specifically. One of the first behind the scenes vlogs you did was when you were doing Perry Mason.
Yes.
And I loved that video because it really shows like you struggling.
The work, yeah, and I do struggle, and I never. It's a truth. Like there's things that I just I can't get this
right.
And I just and it's frustrating. And I think it's important to show that. And I want to do more vlogs that show that side because it is hard. You know, you play violin, so it takes a lot of patience and practice.
No. Ahí. Perfect. No.
Then explain, please.
Looking at someone like yourself who's playing a song predominantly, you know, done by Zakk Wylde.
Yes, the boss.
Yes, who is at the top of the list of guitar heroes of all lists all the time. You know? And he got there because of the work that he put into it. You know? So, I mean, it would be, I feel, in this day and age, detrimental for someone to just put out a video and just be like, yeah, I can do that too.
I can do that. That's so easy. It's like, dude, it actually gave me a huge respect for Zakk Wylde because it's hard. And those pinch harmonics, that guy just like pulls them out. It's like, this is nothing. He's great.
But you know, I got the awesome chance to sit down and talk with him as well. And he said the same thing because I asked him, you know, does he ever get to really play for fun or is it all practice?
Yeah.
And he's like, it's both. It's like, I cannot get up any single day and not pick up the guitar.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way?
I do feel the same way. I'm missing my guitar because I didn't bring it on this trip, but someone I know brought a guitar with them. But actually it's weird because I'm feeling I miss it. It's like my fingers feel weird. Like I was like, I really want to play on my guitar, you know, just like practice a little bit, just for the love of the instrument, you know.
Yeah.
So the love of playing. It's great. It's a wonderful thing.
It really is, and it 100% shows with everything that you produce, everything you do.
Thank you.
And you are constantly coming out, and I want to kind of say like almost like left field kind of stuff because you crush it on rock and metal and that kind of thing.
Thank
But I
you.
mean, like your cover of Hallelujah and Country Roads, like just, you know, other ends of the spectrum. Do you have a list of stuff that you just kind of roll a Rolodex of things, or does it just hit you one day like I'm gonna do Hallelujah?
That's the way it happened with Hallelujah and Country Roads. It's like one day it's like let's do. I say let's because my partner and Warleyson is also my husband, Warleyson Almeida, and we work together as people can see on our videos. And that's just like it's like the same day. It was like Country Roads. Let's do this. And like it, I just love the way that it turned out. I think it turned out really, you know, it's such a good tribute to John Denver because I am a huge fan of him as well. some videos, it's something that happened in that moment and we just go for it. And then some things it takes more planning, it's like it's on our list, like we really want to do this song, but then it gives us a little bit more work, like Perry Mason.
Right.
So
but that's awesome. And the other side of it is you and your husband are doing all of this on your own.
Yes.
So obviously, and I know this from multiple things that you've talked about in other interviews that you've been in, you're a classically trained guitarist. You've also, had multiple teachers. You took a masterclass with Zakk Wylde, which I want to talk about in a second.
The boss.
But when it comes to the production side of it, are you learning all of that as you go?
Yes. The production side is something that I am not as familiar with. Warleyson's really good at that, but I'm learning a lot. In this last year, the editing, I've been doing a lot of that, and it's a whole different ball game. So it's like you finish the video, you're like, oh, pat yourself on the back. It's like, okay, I gotta edit this video now. And so that's a whole different ball game. So
also editing audio.
Yeah, the audio is very hard.
It's tough. Thankfully, again, we live in the future, which is amazing.
The future.
And there's so many cool, programs and apps that it's not cutting to tape anymore. Or any of that kind of
it's
stuff.
not.
But it's still I learn every day just producing this podcast.
Yeah.
And it's audio and video, and what you guys do is exponentially bigger than anything that I can't even imagine.
It's a lot of work.
What you have to learn just to be able to then implement.
It's a lot of work. The production, Warleyson is the master of that. He makes everything sound really good, and he knows exactly what to do. But it is a lot of work. And I think we would actually like to do a video and show that part of it, because I think it's good for people to see the time that goes into it,
Yeah.
So.
And I think you definitely should do a video like that, because I'm personally very curious about production, audio and video.
Yes.
And I know lots of people are, even just the hobbyist who just has their own personal YouTube channel and just does whatever. You can always find tips and tricks when you see other people doing
yes,
the exact same thing.
There's a lot of videos. For example, right now we're using BiasFX, BiasFX2. And there's lots of videos online about how to get your guitar sound. And those guys are great, because they show you what to do, and then you emulate up to a point, and then you kind of know what to do to get the sound that you like,
And you have a very distinct sound and style.
Thank you.
You really do. And
I'm glad that you think that.
Well, you can tell if you go through your myriad of work and you really dive into it, you can tell that you have your influences.
Yes.
Father Zakk,
Father Zakk.
I definitely hear a little bit of Eddie Van Halen in there.
That makes me the tapping?
I definitely hear, I can hear different parts throughout the spectrum of music, but you've molded it all and shaped it into Emily. That
makes me so happy, because that's something I really look for in a guitarist, my preferred guitarist. It's like they have their signature sound. It's a sound that they created, and of course, they had their influences. But for example, Zakk Wylde, he has his sound. You listen and you know who it is. Mm-hmm. Eddie Van Halen's the same thing. Like David Gilmour, it's like you close your eyes and you know it's David Gilmour.
Right.
You just know. And I admire that so much. So that's the highest compliment you could give to a guitar player.
Well, I mean it, and it really shines through with your playing. And I think that also is that you are attentive to what you're playing.
Yes.
I really enjoy, I gotta ask, how many guitars do you own?
Okay, let me think about this. I think it's around 12, but
that's awesome.
I'm not sure.
But that's awesome, because when you're playing a, let's say, song by Zakk Wylde or a song by David Gilmour, you're going to sit there and first think about what guitar is going to speak to this song.
Yes.
What's going to speak to the way I'm going to play this song, and how can I kind of mold all of that together?
And kind of emulate his sound, but also not losing your own style to play, I guess. Although I don't know if that makes sense, but for example, I did some Pink Floyd videos and I used a Gibson. Mm-hmm. And some people were like, no, don't use a Gibson, but that's the guitar that I had at that time. I didn't have all these other guitars, and I really liked the way it sounded, but I know that David Gilmour, he uses a Fender. He doesn't use a Gibson. So
but it sounded great when you did it.
Thank you.
100%. How long let's go back to the Perry Mason
Okay.
video. Something that gives you a little bit of a problem, something that you have to really dig your teeth into. You have to really put some time into that. Even before that, you're picking out the guitar, you're picking out the sound, you're doing pre-production. How long of a time span from you and your husband saying we're gonna do this song,
we're gonna do
to completed thing?
Sometimes it depends on how many things are going on with us in life in general. But that particular video, I think it took around maybe like a week. But some videos have taken longer, like learning the song, or maybe it was two weeks just like to start practicing the song.
Just to practice,
and then other things are going on. And I think maybe it took like maybe 2 weeks to do everything. And I think it did take 2 weeks with Perry Mason. But we had a lot going on our plate. There are some videos it's like it takes 2 days, you know. It just
clicks.
depends. Yeah, it just depends. But I think that video took a little longer. Thanks, Zakk. You know, those visual harmonics. So yeah, it just depends. But that video took around 2 weeks to get everything perfect because we were like, oh, this has to be perfect.
Yeah, well, and you nailed it. You guys nailed it. It came out amazing, and I know that Zakk is proud.
Yeah, I hope so.
I know he is. And I want to kind of talk about that because, like we talked about, you know, you've studied and had teachers and had all different types of things, but you were lucky enough to be in Zakk Wylde's masterclass. Can we talk about what that experience was like?
That was amazing. I honestly feel so humbled to have been a part of it because it was a masterclass hosted by Guitar Center where we got to have the masterclass with Zakk Wylde. And he is one of my major influences in guitar playing. Like, I love Zakk Wylde. And so it was just an incredible experience. It was 5 people total. It was a national masterclass, so people from all over the United States entered. And I just remembered when I realized that I won, I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. So they flew us out to LA and we got to be part of this just incredible experience with Guitar Center, and I'm forever grateful to Guitar Center and Zakk Wylde. And actually, my husband was also part of that contest, so we got to go together, and we were like, "Oh my God, this is so exciting!" Sorry, I'm showing like my.
No,
I'm really
do.
excited. So I'm still thinking about it.
All of us at Deathwish are fanboys of Zakk. As
Okay,
well, so,
yeah.
I mean, you know, fan out. It's okay.
It was just incredible. It was an incredible experience and unforgettable. Just.
How long was the masterclass?
How long was the masterclass? It was like a 2-day, 2-day thing, but like the masterclass was, I don't remember exactly how long it was, but I know that we went to Guitar Center and they showed us all around and they showed us like the guitar like that they have and some of Zakk's guitars, the Wild Audio series. And then when we went into the room, I just lost track of time. I don't remember how long it was. I know that sounds like, if you want to be honest, I don't remember. I just remember being like, this is so incredible. And he was just he was very funny, as you know, and very honest too, because he said some things that were very wise. Because in this day and age, it's like music has undergone a huge change.
Yeah.
And one of the things is somebody asked, has music changed a lot for you? Like, is it positive? Is it negative? And he's like, you know, today you can make a video at home and you can use your social media to really promote yourself. He's like, back in my day, I couldn't really do that.
Right.
You have to use the middleman, you know?
Right.
And then it just made me appreciative of how it is today. You can use YouTube to really promote yourself and your other social media. You can make your own video. You can do it yourself. And so I'm really grateful for that, because it has allowed me to promote myself, you know, as a musician and as a guitarist. So I just remember him saying that, and I just really appreciate him saying that because it was so positive, you know.
On the playing side of it, do you feel coming out of that masterclass that you went up that step ladder a little higher?
I did because he you know, gave us really good tips, like make sure to practice and, you know, concentrate on what you're doing, use the pentatonic scales, you know, because it helps your playing. It makes you in charge of what you're playing, you know. Yeah. So things like that.
You do such a good job going back to what you just talked about with promotion, with self-promoting and you know, with social media, with YouTube. Does that come naturally for you? Was that hard? Because we are still on the cusp of that. You know,
Yeah,
social
we
media
still are.
As we're talking right now, social media is changing.
It's changing.
You
Yes,
know,
no, it's such a great question, and I actually want to be like, oh, it's not hard, but you know what? It is kind of hard because I feel like self-promoting yourself can be hard. It's like you have to believe in yourself, and you have to be like, you know, sometimes it's you don't want to like pull your camera out all the time and film things, but I think it's also good to be a natural at that and kind of show people like you're just a normal person too. You just really like music.
Yeah.
You like to play guitar, so I feel like I'm okay at it.
Well, you're very good at it, and once again, you show that you like to play guitar.
Thank you.
It really is, like I said at the beginning, it's a rare thing I feel in the music industry nowadays because so much of the music industry across every genre is a created thing, curated for, you know, a demographic, for a whatever. And you don't feel the passion in that. You don't feel the love in that.
You don't.
It's refreshing to find people like you who
Thank you.
every single thing you produce, there's passion, there's love, there's joy.
Thank
in
you.
actually creating that music.
I'm really happy that comes across because yes, there is a true love for doing this. I feel really grateful to be able to have the opportunity to do this, you know. It's a great job.
So through your entire journey from singing with your sisters in your bedroom to now, what fuels you to keep doing it?
What fuels me to keep doing it, honestly, is just the passion I have for music. It just is something I love. I just love music, and I love how it connects people. I love my following. Like, I know their names.
That's awesome.
And I feel like if it wasn't for them, I feel like none of this would be happening. Because if I didn't have people to reciprocate and watch my videos, I don't think that it would... I don't feel like I would be so motivated. So it's really a give and take, you know, like, and I feel like we motivate each other. So my following, thank you guys.
That's so awesome. So and it's cool because again, in this day and age, it's not like, you know, you only get to see your fans when you're on stage at a show and then they leave and you barely can see them because of the lights in your eyes and all that stuff. You know these people's names.
I do.
You've
I know
seen
their names.
comments. You interact with them. You know that by producing a new video and putting it out,
And they
they're
get
going to see
excited.
it.
It's like, well, they're so excited, but it's a great feeling. It makes me happy. So
that's awesome. I have a very hard question for you because I like asking this question of musicians, especially of your caliber, because it's something that's thrown around in the media a lot, and it's something that's thrown around in the music community a lot.
Okay.
This idea that rock and roll is dead. This idea that rock and roll has changed forever and we can never get back to rock and roll. Do you believe that?
No, I don't. I don't believe that. I don't believe that because I feel like it lives in all of us who are the diehard rock and rollers. Like, I feel like, and we'll just keep perpetuating rock and roll, like self-perpetuating. I don't even know if that's a word, but no, I don't think it's dead. There's a lot of rock shows going on now, and people are really gung-ho, and the crowds are filled, you know? So I don't think it's dead.
I love hearing that, and I don't either. I just wanted to play devil's advocate there. But
and you guys are rock and roll.
Darn right.
Death Wish is rock and roll, and that's why I love you guys.
So let's end there. I want to know, like, because we got connected through the wonders of coffee.
Yes.
How did you find out about Death Wish Coffee?
Well, it was after the Zakk Wylde workshop. And I followed him on Instagram, and then he followed back. I was like, wow, this guy's really nice. He's like following, you know, me. He's Zakk Wylde. So, and then I just started noticing that he was always posting his coffee cup, his really badass mug with the Death Wish logo. And I was like, I have to try this coffee because I love coffee. Let's just get this straight. I love coffee, which is, I'm sorry, I'm really hyper right now.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
The coffee. So, I remember I bought the coffee and I loved it. You guys make some great coffee.
Thank you.
So and now I just crave Death Wish.
That's awesome.
So Death Wish it is.
That's great. Well, I'm glad that we can caffeinate you through everything you do.
Yes, and you do. You really do. And I actually have a really funny story.
Okay.
If I have time.
Of course.
So my husband is not as much of an avid coffee drinker as me, but let me tell the story. I'll finish it. So we were in the studio. We were making the last video, breaking all the rules of Peter Frampton video. And we needed it to be, high energy to film it because we were going to film that day. And I was like, okay, I really need a caffeine jolt. Do you want some? And he's like, okay, I'll try some. And I gave him some of my precious cold brew, and he tried it, and he was wired, and he had never had it before, and he loved it. So I have another Death Wisher on our hands.
That's awesome. I love being a part of this company because it brings so many different types of people together, but we always gravitate towards the music industry.
Yes.
I don't know what it is about that.
I love that about you guys.
Yeah.
And I really do love how you guys bring so many people together. Like and people they're nice. They're not, they're nice people. And like when somebody wins the mug for the week or people are happy and they're like, congratulations. I like that. It's nice.
Yeah,
it's refreshing.
It is refreshing, and it's interesting being in an industry like the coffee industry, because I always say this, that it's not like working for Folgers or something, because it's like nobody's walking around the street with a Folgers shirt on or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
it looks different. The Death Wish stuff looks so different.
Yeah, like Death Wish. We are this lifestyle brand, and we've kind of like subverted ourselves into all these different areas, and it's interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you guys.
I'm so glad that we were able to connect through coffee, but that our coffee is fueling you to do these amazing things. As the year progresses into the end of 2019 into 2020, is there anything you're looking forward to releasing wise, or anything you can talk about?
Yes, I'm glad that you asked that too. I'm working on a CD right now.
Wow, that's great.
I'm really excited because it's just something I've always wanted to do, make my own CD with my own music.
So it's all going to be original music?
It's going to be all original music. Awesome. And I'm collaborating with Warleyson on the CD, and I'm super excited because I think that this CD will open up doors to going on tour. I went to tour. I toured in Brazil for a little while ago, and I just... There's nothing like playing for a live audience and things like that. So that's what I'm doing this year, and I'm super stoked. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Super stoked about it.
Do you think it will come out by the end of the year, or are you looking towards 2020?
Fingers crossed, the end of the year, but I know how these things take. Yes. And we're perfectionists, so probably 2020, but we'll just see.
Excellent. Well, obviously we'll help you guys promote that and everything else.
Thank you.
I can't wait. That's so exciting.
I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm so excited. I just can't wait because original music is the best.
It really, really is. That's awesome. Well, I can't thank you enough for talking with me on the show. And
it was my pleasure.
Maybe we can play a little guitar too.
Oh yeah.
Excellent.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Awesome.
This has been Fueled by Deathcast, a Death Wish Coffee Company podcast production. Thanks for listening.